YouTube, what's cracking? It's your boy Mose. We back off the bye week. Y'all see it. I got the big guns out because I got a bone to pick. I got a bone to pick with the NFL. I got a bone to pick with a couple of y'all. Stay here. We be right back. Give me a minute.
Sorry, Mose couldn't be here, but he doing the Mrs. Mosley thing right now. You know what they're out doing. They're enjoying Valentine's Day is what I was trying to say.
I got you.
Y'all the worst.
You don't know nothing, you don't know nothing, you don't know nothing.
Mose knows.
You don't know nothing, you don't know nothing, but I know that.
Mose knows.
You don't know nothing, you don't know nothing, but I know that.
Mose knows.
You don't know nothing, you don't know nothing, but I know that.
Mose knows.
Mose know it all. Mose know it all. I guarantee real takes, ain't no faking that at all. If you don't know, you gon' know. Mose knows, tune into the show. Not a game, nitty gritty, ready go committee. Mose should be the CEO. Too solid, too real, too 100. I'ma keep it real when you don't. Just that real gold talk. 24 karat words. San Francisco 49er fam. Realest squad on the earth. The 5 God, number 5, taking us to 6. Young killer Trey Lance. New era, new season. Mose got you covered. Go ahead and subscribe. 2022 this year. Got a whole nother vibe. Mose know it all. Mose know it all. Mose know it all. Tune in for the vibe. You don't know nothing, you don't know nothing, you don't know nothing. You don't know nothing, you don't know nothing, but I know that. You don't know nothing, you don't know nothing, you don't know nothing. You don't know nothing, you don't know nothing, but I know that.
Mose knows.
Shout out to my brother Lake City Fresh, man. I'm so glad I got that intro because I was low energy. I was low energy, man. I ain't even gonna lie to you. See, look, my mic is crooked. I was low energy. I knew I had to give y'all a show. I was already off for a week. I couldn't be off for 2 weeks. I was low energy, but hearing that intro by my bro Lake City Fresh, my cousin Knights on the beat, man, that kind of got me ran back up, and it kind of calmed me down too. I was low energy, but I was low energy with some anger. Mad at my team. What are we doing? Mad at the NFL, yo. Y'all messing my picks up. Y'all really messing my picks up, and I don't like it. I don't like it. I've been waiting for the NFL to calibrate it, so maybe it's calibrated, and I just don't know what's happening. Mose don't know nothing because the NFL is changing right in front of us, and don't nobody know nothing. Everybody's picks was off this week. Don't tell me y'all had these picks. Only person that I know picked the Jets besides Jet fans is Rich Eisen. Don't tell me y'all had to. Don't tell me y'all had to. Don't tell me y'all had New York beating Baltimore. If you're not a New York Giants fan, don't tell me that. Don't tell me that. I don't want to hear none of that. I don't want to hear none of it. Well, we're gonna jump in, man. We're gonna this listen. I went to the range on Friday. You know what I'm saying? And then, as you can see, it's a lot of bullseyes. I tore this man's whole shoulder out. His shoulder is gone. It's gone. You see the headshot. You know what I'm saying? I had to. That was before the game. I'm so glad that I went to the range before the game instead of going to the range after the game. I'm so glad I got that out the way. Real quick, man. Shout out to the ATL. Shout out to my cousin, Rude Boy, aka my cousin AJ, man. Picked me up from the airport. He was actually flying in from somewhere else. We linked up at the airport. We got to spend Friday together. Haven't seen him since May, and then before that, it's been a minute. So it was really, really good to link up with fam. Me and him went to the range. You know, he pulled out some of his toys and let me, you know, let off a few rounds and just get to hang with him, laugh, talk, chop it up. That was an absolutely amazing time. And then shout out to the faithful, man. Shout out to my family, my NGNT family, Wayne Breezy, Crystal Peachy B, Fair to God, my road dog for the weekend. We got the same Airbnb. He got a room upstairs. I got a room downstairs. He rented the whip. We was riding around Atlanta. Got to spend some time with him, get to know him a little bit better. Shout out to that family, my NGNT family. All got to link up in person in Atlanta. Shout out to John Chapman, man. Genuine, genuine person, man. I've met him before. We've been on shows before. Really got to hang with him in Chicago. Then got to hang with him again in Atlanta, man. What he's doing with the 49er Rush road trip, it's absolutely amazing to see, to be a part of that, with the whole 49er Rush crew, putting the party and the tailgate together. Absolutely phenomenal weekend. The faithful showed out everywhere we went. The invasion at the Hard Rock, the 49ers Rush road trip party at Hudson Grill, all of the red and gold that was in that stadium, the Mercedes-Benz Stadium, which, by the way, if you have not had a chance to get down to Atlanta to go to that stadium, whether you are a 49er fan, a Falcons fan, or a fan of any of the other 30 NFL teams, please find a way to spend a weekend in Atlanta and go to the Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Absolutely phenomenal stadium. Just the whole experience. When they talk about Southern hospitality, I ate like a king. Like a king. I mean, I had fried whiting, I had fried red snapper, I had all different types of wings. Me and Fair went to Waffle House. He was like, I'm in the A, we in the South. I gotta go to Waffle House. We went to Waffle House, probably the best waffle I ever had. Shout out to Rosie's Cafe. And I'm mad at Fair because on Monday morning, my flight was at 7:30. His flight wasn't until later on in the afternoon. So he got to go back to Rosie's Cafe. And this time he got the shrimp and grits and showed me the picture of it. I'm kind of jealous. Shout out to Rosie's Cafe. Shout out to all the different food spots we hit. We hit Smoky Bones. We hit Touchdown Wings. Oh, man, absolutely amazing time in Atlanta. I really, really enjoyed myself hanging out with the faithful, going to the game. Not the result that we wanted. We'll touch on it in a brief second. Let's get started with the quick hitters for week 6. First, the Thursday night matchup. Washington Commanders at the Chicago Bears. Washington wins this game 12-7. What do we know now based on watching this game? Two bad teams that are still bad teams. That's what we know. I'm going to leave it at that. This was a 12-7 game. I posted on Twitter. I said, the fact that everyone who said that this Thursday night game would be worse than the Colts-Broncos Thursday night game that was the week prior, I don't know. The fact that they were right about that, I don't know if that is funny or sad. Like, I was confused. Like, should I be laughing at this or is this sad? Like, is this a bad thing? Like, everybody was right about that. These two teams are not good. Ron Rivera gets on the podium and is like upset and cursing out the reporters for talking about Carson Wentz, but a couple days before, based on what he said, and maybe everybody took it out of context, but I took it the way everybody else took it. It sounded like it was a shot at Carson Wentz. It sounded like they said, what's the problem, coach? What is the problem? Quarterback. Well, who was your quarterback at the time? If quarterback is the problem and your quarterback at the time is Carson Wentz, who are you talking about? I'll wait, Ron. I mean, so two bad teams that are going to continue to struggle. I feel like Chicago should have had that game. Again, this show is not particularly a 49er podcast, but I'm a 49ers fan. And knowing that we lost to this team that couldn't beat the Commanders, tough. Moving on to Sunday's games. I'm glad this is the first one so I can get this out of the way early. 49ers visiting the Atlanta Falcons. Mose, Breezy, Peachy, Fair to God. Who else was down there? John Chapman, Eric Crocker, Jason Aponte, Grant Cohn, Matt Mayoko, Jennifer Lee Chan. Anybody who you watch that's connected with the 49ers, most of the 49ers, I mean, shout out to my Real Talk Niner Talk fam. Shout out to I saw Kev, my homie Silverado Kev. Saw the rest of the Real Talk Niner Talk podcast gang out there. It was good to see them homies, man. Good to see my boys out there. Anybody who you watch that does 49er content, more than likely they were out there. Um, and we showed up. We showed out. Stay tuned on the Mose Knows channel. I got my vlogs whenever I go out, whenever I go to these games. I'll be putting a vlog out. I did one for Chicago. I'm behind the scenes working on the one for Atlanta. That's going to be dropping tomorrow, sometime in the afternoon, evening. So be on the lookout for that so you can, just see the happenings of what I saw when I was in Atlanta. But we were down there. We showed out. The faithful traveled as we do. We invaded Atlanta. And what we know is the 49ers didn't show up. Brandon Ayuk showed up. Even with the 2 interceptions, I say maybe Jimmy Garoppolo showed up. Debo, Kittle. Everybody else, though, didn't show up. We didn't show up enough. We weren't prepared for this game. And the Atlanta Falcons used our formula and punched us in the mouth. They ran the ball 40 times. They didn't let Mariota go wild and crazy, throwing the ball all over the field. They controlled the ball. They controlled time of possession, and they won a turnover battle. They beat us with our own formula. That's what we know. That's why we lose this game 28-14. Didn't put up any points in the second half. And I had to hear it from a security guard that looked like Plies and a Falcons fan that was literally yelling all game who looked like Ludacris's little brother. They was cool, though. They was cool. Ludacris' little brother was funny. He was talking mad trash, and I was sitting down most of the time, especially we started the game down 14-0. We tied the game up. It's 14-14, and he said, I can't talk to him or say nothing until we tie the game up. We tie the game up. I jump out my seat, and I stand in front of him, and I'm like, what's up now? It's 14-14. You said wait till we tie it up, and now we got a game. And he looked at me real quick. He was like, all right, Warren Sapp, you better sit your big ass down. I ain't trying to fight today. That was funny. Ludacris Jr., great value Ludacris. He was hilarious. The security guard, I'm telling you, he looked like Plies. He even sound like Plies. Me and him made a bet because I had on a ring. Shout out to Nick, 49ers Rush Road Trip, part of the team, gave me one of the rings. I had the ring on. And he was like, if y'all lose, you got to take a video on my phone with you doing the thumbs down in the ring in the video. And then Fair was with me. He jumped in. He was like, all right, if we win, you got to put the ring on and do the thumbs up. And me and him shook on it. We shook on that. Again, we lost. I had to be on his camera. I don't like doing that. Anyway, that's what we know from that game. Moving on. New England Patriots visit the Cleveland Browns. New England wins this game 38-15. What do we know from this game? Well, we know that Bill Belichick is not going to lose to, one, his former employer, and two, one of his former players. No way he was going to let Jacoby Brissett beat him. He came out with a masterful game plan. Rookie Bailey Zappi throws for 309 yards. Listen, I don't think New England is as vaunted as they used to be, but Bill Belichick is a great coach. That's something that we know. Moving on. Jacksonville visiting the Indianapolis Colts. Indy comes back, and instead of going for a game-winning field goal, Frank Reich goes balls to the wall and says, we're going touchdown or go home. And Matt Ryan, game-winning touchdown. What we know from this game, I don't know if there's anything much that we learned. I think we know that the Indianapolis Colts, one, are going to fight. I think what we know that Jacksonville is, I don't want to say a good team, but they seem to be playing better under new head coach Doug Peterson. They really had this game in the bag. And I think with a young team that's still trying to figure out their identity and who they are under Doug Peterson, that's what you're going to see. I think we saw it in Philadelphia. I think they were up 14-0 on Philly, and they lost that game. They were up for a majority of this game. Actually, let me pull up the box score because it'll kind of show me what happened. They were up 7-0 at one point. They went in the half up 14-13. They were up at the end of 3 and then gave up 15 points in the fourth quarter to lose the game. So they're playing solid football. Trevor Lawrence may not be playing as well as people would have hoped, but he was 20 of 22. He only had 165 yards, but he was 20 of 22. He was very efficient with the football. The Jags are playing good, but they're a young team still trying to find their identity, and that's why they aren't able to close some of these close games. Um, but I think that will come in time. Moving on, Minnesota at Miami. Vikings win this one 24-16. Although Teddy Bridgewater threw for 329 yards, I think what we know from this game is Miami is a completely different team without Tua Tagovailoa. He's been out for a couple of weeks with the concussion issues, and they just don't seem to have that same spark, that same flair that they had prior to him going out. The way they came back against Baltimore, the way they were able to win a close game against Buffalo. We're not seeing that same team, and I think a lot of that has to do with the absence of Tua Tagovailoa. Now, is he a Tom Brady? Is he a Mahomes, a Josh Allen, a Aaron Rodgers? No, but I think Mike McDaniel had a plan for him, and the plan that he had was working. And you saw the evidence of that with him winning games, winning tough games, winning games that they weren't supposed to win. But now I don't see that same spark. Minnesota is playing well. They are 5-1. They were able to go on the road and get a W. But I do feel like that game would be different if a healthy Tua was playing. Cincinnati Bengals at the New Orleans Saints. Bengals win this one 30-26. What do we know from this game? The Bengals are a decent team, but I think the book is out on them, and they are not as good as they were last year. Defensively, things don't seem to be clicking 100%. And then offensively, sometimes I feel like it takes them too long to get into a groove. Now you got Joe Burrow back in the Bayou. You got Jamar Chase back in the Bayou. I think it was really cool for Burrow to wear Jamar Chase's championship jersey from the year that they won the national title. So it was fitting for those two to connect on the game-winning touchdown. But Cincinnati doesn't look like that same team that we saw last year. There is the Super Bowl hangover real for the losing team? Possibly. Maybe they aren't in mid-season form yet. But I think it's something that Zach Taylor needs to get a handle of quickly because their schedule is only going to get that much tougher. Moving on, Tampa Bay in Pittsburgh. And one of the surprises of the week messed up a lot of people. I know y'all didn't pick Pittsburgh to beat Tom. I know y'all didn't. Kenny Pickett starting, and then I didn't, because I was in Atlanta. I didn't get to see all of it. I got to go back and watch it. I don't know if they took Kenny Pickett out because he wasn't playing well, or maybe he got injured, he got nicked up. They had to bring Trubisky back in, and y'all still lose to Pittsburgh. I know y'all didn't pick Pittsburgh to beat Tampa. What do we know from this game? Tampa's not the same. They just aren't. And their defense is up and down. Yes, they only allowed 20 points. It's not a lot of points. 20 points should be enough for a Tom Brady-led team to win the game. Is the outside noise creeping in and affecting this team? Not going to talk about Tom Brady and his personal situation. I am a married man. I wouldn't want that to be talked about or that to be the focus. But just in human reality, could that be creeping in to his mental psyche and to the mental psyche of the players around him? Again, more issues with Tom. Him missing practices or walkthroughs or whatever to go to, Robert Kraft's wedding. To me, that's not that big of a deal. He has a great relationship with Robert Kraft. A lot of the former players were there. Robert Kraft is getting married. It's this big hoopla. He had Elton John singing. He had Ed Sheeran singing. Meek Mill rapped. I don't know what song Meek Mill performed at Robert Kraft's wedding, but Meek Mill performed. I really got to know from somebody, what was the song that Meek Mill decided to rap at Robert Kraft's wedding? I have to know what that was. I don't know if Meek has a wedding worthy song in his catalog, but hey, he might. He might. I don't know. I don't think that's that big of a deal, but People are going to make a big deal out of those small little things, especially when you're not winning, especially when you're not beating the teams that you're supposed to. The Carolina Panthers at the Los Angeles Rams. Rams take this one 24-10. We already know Carolina is in a race to the number one pick. Uh, Apparently, there's supposed to be a fire sale that started with moving on from Robbie Anderson. He's out of there. Got kicked off the sideline by interim coach Steve Wilkes, arguing with some his wide receivers coach, and they made the trade and they got him up out of here. I think he's the first domino to fall. We don't know who's next, but it looks like they're going to be completely rebuilding that team. Uh, this didn't tell me anything about the Rams. I think at one point they were down in this game. I mean, at the end of the first, it was 3-0 Carolina. That's not a big lead, but you were losing. And I don't know when Carolina scored 7, so it could have been 10-0 at one point. So this doesn't tell me anything about the Rams. They've been struggling all season. I think their fans and myself are waiting for them to hit their stride. Um, I don't know if they're going to hit it this year. Next game, Arizona Cardinals, Seattle Seahawks. Seattle takes this game 19-9 over the Arizona Cardinals. What do we know from this game? Seattle is a middle of the road team that can beat other middle of the road or bad teams, and they proved that in this game. Arizona is not as vaunted as people thought or people hoped. I think the Cliff Kingsbury experiment. I think it's safe to call that a failure at this point. Um, his offense and what he's able to do. Um, I mean, it didn't work in the college level. He didn't have that much success in the college level. So, I mean, once people figured him out, he's not really having much success. I don't know if he's a leader of men. So, yeah, Arizona is down bad. They get DeAndre Hopkins back, but it looks like they lose Marquise Brown. That's why they go out and get Robbie Anderson. They need to make sure that Kyler has the firepower, but it doesn't. It don't look good for him. I'll tell you that right now. Don't look good for him. That's enough for the quick hitters. That's what we know from those games. We are going to jump into my top 5 for this week. But before we do that, let's jump into the comments section. My brother, fair to God, listen, there's some people that you just know, bro, I can never travel with this person anywhere. Dog, fair to God, my brother is somebody who I can travel with anywhere. Anywhere. Bro, like conversations in the car, talking about married life, talking about dad life, our conversations about music. Bro, the playlist was rocking this weekend. The playlist was crazy this weekend, bro. Fair to God, my brother, I can travel with this dude anywhere. Says we got to get you grouping when shooting, bro. I can help you get your aim, bro. Listen, I'll be honest with you. That was my first time at a range like that. So my cousin had me on the pistol first. Then he brought out the AR-15. Then he brought out the pump action 12 gauge. So I mean, I'm pretty listen. And at first I think I had it at 7 yards. Then I moved it back to 10, and then I think I might have went back to like 15 or 20. Looking at some of the headshots and looking at this whole shoulder piece that's missing from homie right here, I don't think I did too bad for my first one, bro. But listen, anything to help get the aim right, I'm with it, dog. I'm with it. Talib Jackson, dang, bro. What did you shoot, bro, with a 240 Bravo? Nah, so again, yeah, we had a FN 509 9mm pistol. Had the AR-15. I think we had what 222s in there. I think it was 222s. And then we had the 12 gauge shotgun. So yeah, my man whole shoulder piece is missing. Fair Faithful definitely showed out. Waffle House and Rosie's was fire. Yes, it was. I'll be in ATL for Morehouse College homecoming this weekend. My brother, stay safe. Stay safe. I know that's about to be crazy. Make sure you're traveling with the right people. Make sure they got your best interest at heart because it's going to get wild down there. Just stay safe, bro. Stay safe. To my sis Sin, she says hello. What's going on? Ew, we got a Niner gang podcast sighting. My bro Dion. I actually picked the Jets to win. I gotta see it. I gotta see it. I know I can verify this by going to your channel and checking out your picks. If the video ain't up on your channel, Dion, I I don't believe it. But if the video is up and I can verify it, then you will be the second person I know that picked the Jets. I went 6-8 this week, all bad. I know it's all bad. This was not a winning week for most people. I don't think it was a winning week for anybody. Salim says Pickett got injured. Okay, perfect. I know I did. I thought the Bugs will win. I'm thinking that's Bucks. Okay, yeah, Bucks. Oh, Master Chef, man, my homie, my brother in the building. It was so good to get to meet Master Chef. Man, went down to where the invasion was. That was at the Hard Rock. Then we went across the way to the Hooters because the Hard Rock was full. Breezy was in Hooters going bananas because the Michigan game was on. And we look over and who was there? Master Chef and the missus. Finally got to meet Master Chef, chop it up with him. Took some pics with the family. So good to meet you. Thank you for stopping by. I appreciate it. Mose, how can the Rams trade for CMC with no first round? Bro, I don't know. But if it's anybody that's going to do it, it's going to be them. Now, they may give like 2 future first rounds. Like they may give like a 2024 and a 2025. And if the NFL let them, they'll probably give them a 2026. They're going to do something strange and something weird like that and find all of these crazy picks. And they may throw them a player or two. And maybe under the table, they'll be like, look, we'll send you on like $5 million. You can find something to do with. I don't know how the Rams make it happen, but they might figure out a way to make it happen, which is why John Lynch need to be on the phone. Now, I don't know if we necessarily need running backs. I understand the philosophy of adding a player the caliber of CMC to Kyle Shanahan and his 49ers offense. But then on the other hand, if I'm being pessimistic, you're going to add an injury-prone running back to the most injured team in the NFL. That don't sound like a good mix. That's like mixing brown and white. And like that, you can't mix dark liquor and clear liquor. That don't mix. An injury-prone running back in the most injured team. Now, you probably saying, yeah, that do mix because if he get injured, it's normal. But to me, that just might expedite him getting injured, just coming to play with us. But that's neither here nor there. Shout out to the sis Mariah. Thank you so much for tuning in. Oh, NBA in the building. What's up, big bro? Mike, I'm sure that's Mike. What's going on? He said the 225. Yeah, I mean, I was boop, boop, boop. I'm telling you, I got all the clips. They coming out tomorrow so everybody can see those. It's always on my IG, bro. Perfect. Okay, I'm going to check the IG just to confirm that. He said that's where I do my picks. Bro, CMC in this. I know it would be. I know it would be ridiculous, but if you think he can stay healthy, if you honestly think that CMC can stay healthy and do damage in this offense, then I'm riding with you. I just don't know if he'll be able to. And what are we going to have to give up to give him? I think that is the question. Based off of what Carolina wants and what we have to give up to get him. If what we have to give up to get him makes sense, then yeah, you take a flyer on it. If he gets injured, okay. If he doesn't, then you didn't really have to give up much to see what he can do. So Mike says CMC here would be a 2-week rental. See, we thinking emotionally, not logically. I knew I could count on Mike to be thinking on the same wavelength that I'm thinking, because you add an injury-prone running back to the most injured team in the league. I don't know. I've been talking to a lot of people. Shout out to my cousin Sid up in Chicago. He says he doesn't know if it's the coaching staff, the training staff, how Kyle practices the guys, what it could be. But he thinks that Kyle can't fix it, that he hasn't been able to fix it for his time here. That's why we've been no worse or better than sixth in the sixth most injuries in the league. It's been sixth most or worse, fourth most, third most, second most, first most. As of right now, we're the most injured team in the league. And it's only week 6 going into week 7. So whatever it is, Kyle can't fix it. They brought in a new training staff and they was doing some stuff with like hockey training and how they do with hockey players. First of all, that's two different sports. I understand they both physical, but that's two different sports. And what have the players been complaining about? What happened to Manny Mosley with the ACL tear, playing on artificial turf, not playing on grass? Correct me if I'm wrong, but in every hockey stadium, ice is ice. I know they're not skating around on dry. Ice is ice. It's frozen water. So whether they playing on the inside or outside, ice is ice. But grass and artificial turf are two different surfaces. So one, that's different. So whatever y'all was doing with the hockey players, and it's not the same. It's not the same. So I don't know if a new training staff has to come in. I don't know if Kyle needs to adjust the way he practices. I don't know if Kyle needs to adjust what he does in the offseason. A lot of people are saying that, hey, maybe uh, him not playing his starters in the preseason and using regular season games to get them to midseason form is the problem. It could be a whole host of reasons, but he needs to figure it out. And according to my cousin Sid, Kyle can't figure that out, and he doesn't have the means to fix it. Did you see the article about 49ers trading for Bryce Hall because he's on the trading block? Bryce Hall. Who is that? It's a lot of Halls. I know are you talking about the corner from the Jets? Bryce Hall on the trade. Okay, so you talking about Jets corner Bryce Hall. I actually do like Bryce. I was a fan of Bryce coming out of Virginia. Um, he's not the fastest. He's not going to kill you with blazing speed. But I think his football IQ and his knack for the ball is something that we could use. I do think we have the corners here. I don't think they played well on Sunday, but I don't think they played bad. They didn't play terrible. And I think we did something that I haven't really seen us do in a while. And before Travarius Ward went down, before Mooney went down with the groin injury, he followed Drake London all over the field. And then when he went down, Diamador, wherever number 5 went, Diamador was on him. So again, I was a little confused about this particular game plan, especially on the defensive side of the ball, because we rarely see our corners travel. But maybe we have to do that now because we don't have our 2 studs. With Manny Mosley down, we only had Mooney. So Mooney had to take on the best guy, the number 1 guy, and then everybody else was free. And then when he went down, the next best was Diamador. So I don't think it would cost us a lot to get Bryce, and I think he got pushed down, with the insertion of Sauce Gardner, who's an absolute problem. Absolute problem. He's a great young player. If we can get Bryce Hall, and if it doesn't cost us a lot, 6'1", 202, he's 24. He's 24 years old. I think that would be a good get, just to add depth to that secondary. Shout out to Daniel Davis. I appreciate the love so much. Had to subscribe. Hit me with the gun in the 100. I really, really appreciate you, man. Thank you so much for that subscription. Welcome to the Mose Knows fam. Listen, once you're family, I love you. There's nothing you can do about it. Jerome Davis, I wonder if y'all are related. Jerome, if you brought Daniel here and you made Daniel subscribe, I appreciate you. What's poppin', Mose? We don't need to add any more cripples. We need to just be creative and execute on offense. We'll heal up before the stretch is a plus. I agree. I don't think if we add anybody to this team, it should be anybody with injury issues. I think we need to do our due diligence and find players. Now, freak accidents happen. It's the NFL. It gets physical. I understand that. But I think we do need to do our due diligence with anybody that we bring in here if we make a move at the trade deadline. Um, I was talking to Breezy in Atlanta, and we were talking about making a trade with Carolina, and he didn't mention CMC. He didn't mention Brian Burns. The name he mentioned is Derek Brown. And as a former defensive tackle myself, I love that idea. I love going to get a guy like Derek Brown. Uh, with the injury news and history of Javon Kinlaw, I don't foresee him being able to come back and give us 12, 14, 16, 17 game seasons. I don't foresee him being a force, a consistent beast up the middle of that defense that we need. I would go get Derek Brown. If Carolina's having a fire sale and he's available, I would go get Derek Brown. If you want to bring somebody else in to help in that interior of the defense and Derek Brown is too expensive, another name that's been floated out there is defensive tackle Deron Payne from the Washington Commanders. If they continue to lose and things are going crazy, I think we can pick up the phone and say, hey, you were already talking about getting rid of him in 2021. You guys are kind of sputtering a little bit. Maybe we can throw you a late round pick to add to your haul. Y'all give us Deron Payne and then let him go crazy on the interior. Add him to Eric Armstead when he comes back. Put Kevin Givens and Hassan Ridgeway back in rotation instead of having to rely on those guys for longer stretches in the game. And then you kind of solve, you put a Band-Aid on that for at least this season. So Derek Brown, number one option. Deron Payne, number two option. But I think we need to stop the run. And again, I don't want to overreact and say, wow, what the Atlanta Falcons were able to do was run the ball down our throat with big number 42, Caleb Huntley. But that is what they were able to do. And we know this is a copycat league. Teams are going to see that we aren't as strong up front without Kinlaw, without Armstead. So they're going to try to continue to run the ball and keep the ball out of our offensive hands because of how explosive our offense is. So we need to be able to combat that. And if Kinlaw isn't going to be healthy, he's on IR, he's going to come back. And again, not to say anything negative, but he's going to play a week and a half, going to have inflammation again, not be able to move, not be able to play. Boom. Then he's back on IR. This time it's probably season ending because of where it happens in the season. I don't feel like dealing with that no more. Talib says Kyle needs to bring in Mr. Miyagi. He need to wax on, wax off something. Since we're thin on D-line, should trade for Deron Payne. Yep, just mentioned that. Dion says, I love what Sauce did with the cheese. I love it too. And listen, I miss me with that sportsmanship, camaraderie. Look, this is sports. You talk trash, you go back and forth. You got to be able to back up the trash talk. Until the winner go to spoils. He wasn't disrespectful, but they went into Green Bay. Nobody expected them to win except for Dion and Rich Eisen, and they got a dub. So yeah, let me get one of these cheeseheads and put this on my head, cause I get the spoils. I won. We beat you on y'all house. Ain't nothing wrong with that. I love the fire. I love the passion. That's what sports is about. Jerome says, hey, Mose, Kyle has me like Cameron and Paid in Full, screaming, what's the use to have weapons if you don't want, listen. That's why we went to the range. What's the point of having guns if you ain't going to shoot them? Shoot or shoot, right? Come on, Kyle, get it together. All right, my quick hitters are supposed to be fast. And y'all got me in the chat going, I appreciate y'all. I appreciate y'all with the comments, with the love, going back and forth in the chat. We're going to hit the top 5, then we're going to get out of here. Got to get back downstairs to the missus, to the babies, help them get ready for school tomorrow, get them in the bed. First top 5, Broncos, Chargers. Pretty good game. Division rival, you expected it. I think what we know, the Denver Broncos are still having issues on offense. Nathaniel Hackett, I don't know if he can hack it. I'm not a rapper. Don't quote me on that. Russell Wilson still seems to be struggling. Every week, there's a wide open receiver that he misses and misses badly. They just aren't able to find a rhythm. Um, but also on the side of the Los Angeles Chargers, they're sitting at 4-2, which is good. But I expected this team to be a little bit more dominant. And I know they're missing Keenan Allen right now, but they still have Austin Eckler. They still have Mike Williams. I like Gerald Everett and Donald Parham as their tight ends. And they still have a young gunslinger in Justin Herbert. So for him to throw 57 times, only get 238 yards, no touchdowns and an interception. Defensively, yes, they held them to 16 points. But I expected this defense to be a little bit more lethal, especially with all the pieces that they have and that they added. I know they're down Joey Bosa right now with a groin injury. Kind of ironic that Joey and Nick both suffered groin injuries. Um, but I expected this team to just have a little bit more firepower and be a little bit more dominant than what they are. Um, Partially, I think it's due to the head coach Brandon Staley. I think he's come in with a good system, and he's establishing solid culture. But a lot of the times with NFL teams, it's about your identity. Do you know who you are, and do you go out and play to that identity? Are you playing like who you know you are? And I think they're still trying to find that. I think they're still trying to find that and still trying to figure that out. I thought they had it figured out, but it seems as if they don't. And it seems as if he's having trouble making adjustments to people figuring out what they want to do both on both sides of the ball, offense and defense. So again, they are able to win. They are able to beat bad teams. They're sitting at 4-2, but I think they need to crank it up a notch as they head towards deeper into the season and into the playoffs. Jets and Packers, we talked about it briefly. Robert Saleh, we know him well as 49er fans. For the faithful who are in the chat, for the Jets fans, you're kind of get to learn and get to know he is. The more and more you see him, you hear from him in press conferences, the more and more you see him after the game when they give you the quick snippets of the post-game locker room speech. He is instilling what I just talked about, an identity into this team. He's got players like Sauce Gardner as a rookie looking like a seasoned veteran. He's got guys based off of his defensive philosophy and what he's trying to bring in. He's got Quinnen Williams balling. Quinnen Williams looks scary right now. He's got the rest of his team looking really, really solid. Great draft pick in Brees Hall. He is the starting running back for this team. He is taking the most of his opportunities. We got Zach Wilson back trying to get him into fold. He's starting to look a little bit better with every game. The Jets have an idea of who they are, and they're going out and they're playing that way because there are no expectations on them. We'll see what happens when expectations start to flow and expectations change. But as of right now, they're playing with no expectations, and they're playing free. They're playing fast. As Robert Saleh, as we know, his motto is what? All gas, no brakes. That's how they're playing. They were able to go into Lambeau and get a dub. And Green Bay, they don't look the same. I don't think Aaron Rodgers is regressing. I think LaFleur, similar to Kyle Shanahan, they're figuring him out. And then with the lack of weapons, Aaron isn't able to be as effective as he wants to be. Baltimore Ravens, New York Giants. This is the surprise team of the NFL. The New York Giants at 5-1. I've heard people crapping on Dayball as the head coach selection. He won't be anything without Josh Allen. He's okay in the passing game, but he abandons the run too much. I mean, he ran 31 times, gave Saquon 22 carries, 83 yards, and a touchdown. Uh, Daniel Jones doesn't look amazing, but he doesn't look terrible. He looks like the game manager that Dayball wants him to be. And this defense is playing solid, solid football, able to hold the Ravens to 20 points. Lamar was 17 of 32 for only 210 yards, one touchdown, one interception. He almost had 100 yards on the ground, but he wasn't able to really destroy them with his legs as he's had some other teams. And they found a way to win. Um, One of the things I talked about earlier with the Jacksonville Jaguars, with a new head coach, they aren't able to close games. Well, early on this season with Brian Dayball, this Giants team is finding a way to win games and close games in the fourth quarter. We saw it week one against the Tennessee Titans. We saw it this week against the Ravens. They're finding ways to get wins late in the game. They scored 14 points in the fourth quarter. That ultimately helped them get this W at home against a really, really good Baltimore Ravens team. And now they're sitting at number 2 in the NFC East. Speaking of the NFC East, we're going to go to Philly. Eagles pretty much dominated this whole game, went into halftime up 20-3. Dallas was able to make some adjustments, get on the board, but ultimately the Eagles put up 6 in the fourth quarter to end the game and take it home. Um, Jalen Hurts, 15 to 25, 155 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. Philly running the football, 18 carries for Miles Sanders, 9 for Hurts, 10 for Gainwell, 6 for Boston Scott, and 1 for Quez Watkins. A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, 5 catches apiece, a touchdown apiece for both of those guys. Jalen Hurts is finding his weapons. He's utilizing his weapons. And this Eagles defense, my goodness, this Eagles defense is playing some really, really, really good football. I think they're one of the healthiest teams right now. I know the 49ers, it's called a bus score. Let me see if I can find it. Yeah. So bus, B-U-S, banged up score. The 49ers are ranked last at 60.4. We have a 60.4 bus score. The Philadelphia Eagles are ranked number 1 with an 89.3 bus score. So while we don't have the worst record in the league, we clearly could have a better record if we weren't so banged up. And the Eagles, who are the least injured team in the league, are sitting at 6-0 and are the only undefeated team left in the NFL. Make of that what you will. Lastly, last in the top 5, Bills and Chiefs. This was a solid game. Now listen, Tony Romo, during the broadcast, said that this would not be a shootout like the playoffs. This will be a low-scoring game, and he predicted this score 24-20. Now, Tony Romo has a knack for predicting stuff that happens throughout the game, what players are going to be wrong, all this kind of stuff like that. I'm not a conspiracy theorist by any stretch of the imagination, but some ain't right. Because why is Tony always right? And if he's not always right, it's like 95%. Like he predicted the exact score, 24-20. Either he's some weird magician that we don't know about, or the NFL is rigged. I know that's a conspiracy that's floated around there, that the NFL is rigged. But I don't know how this man is right all the time. But nonetheless, a really, really solid game. Both Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes go for 325 plus yards, 5 touchdowns between the two of them. Patrick Mahomes, the difference in the game, 2 interceptions. 1 came in the end zone. Juju, Travis Kelce went off. 5 catches, 113 and a touchdown for Juju. 8 and 108 for Travis. Stephon Diggs, Josh Allen's favorite target, 10 for 148 and a touchdown. This was a solid game. This was the game of the week. I think there were a couple. I would say Eagles Cowboys was game of the week, going into the week. But once we saw the games, Bills Chiefs game of the week. Could be another AFC playoff, whether it's the divisional round or the championship round. Could be another preview. These teams are not in the same division, so we won't see them play again until it comes to the playoffs. But I definitely want to see these two teams match up again. Josh Allen able to will his team to a victory, um, drive down for the game winning touchdown. Both of these teams are really, really good teams. 49ers, we have the Kansas City Chiefs coming up this weekend. Are they mad about this loss? Is this a loss that they're seething over and like, oh, we got to come out next week and like really, really dominate? Or is this just like, we played a good Buffalo team. They wanted to get us back because we beat them last year and they got us. I'm just trying to find any glimmer of hope for my 49ers because I hope that this loss to Atlanta and how we played this game, I hope that light a fire underneath us. Because if not, we're going to get smoked out our own building by the Chiefs. So it is what it is. That's the top five for the week. That's what we know from week 6. The NFL is crazy. It's all bad. I'm not going to stop picking games, but just know that it might take a while for my picks to start looking right because I'm trying to see if I can find some type of pattern. But every time I think I got it, it's gone. Every single time. Hurricane 774, thank you so much for stopping by. How about Sign Sue? He's talking about Indomitian Sue. Somebody asked me this question before. I don't know if I like it. I don't know if I like it. I think he's up there in age. I know he was okay in Tampa, but I don't know if him as a player fits the chemistry of our locker room, of our defense, of our defensive line under Coach Kosaric. I don't know if he's a fit. Again, he's older. I don't think he has the same amount of explosion. I'd rather go with the younger guys. I'd rather go with the 6'5", 320 Derek Brown, or if we need a cheaper option, I'd rather go 6'2", 320, very explosive Deron Payne, looking for a new situation, looking for a situation where he can come in and be the same dominant Deron Payne that he was in Alabama. So I'd rather go with one of those two guys over the aging. So I think Tampa got what they could out of that, last hurrah from him. I don't think he has another one of those do with him. We got to do a pick show together, man. Me, you, and Bree. Dion, absolutely. Start something up. Twitter DM, Instagram DM. I think you got my phone number, so text message, either one. Put something on the radar. You already put it on my radar. If you didn't put it on Breezy's radar, put it on Breezy's radar. And we need to do like a joint pick show where we all make our picks, whether we agree or disagree, talk about why we agree or disagree. And then, so we do one show with our picks and then find time to do a follow-up show to see who had the best record. So that may be something that we can do maybe a few times this season, see how it goes. And then if it goes well, if we do, 2 or 3 shows like that, if it goes well, then going into next year's season, 2023, maybe that's something we do from the start. So just like they be doing on NFL and ESPN, you, me, Breezy, we have our pick show. If we want to bring a fourth in, like John Chapman or somebody like that, we do a pick show. We lay out our picks. We talk about why we agree or disagree. Not going, steal NFL Network Stilo, but if there's a lone wolf, something like that, where I'm only, or you, Dion, prime example, if me, Breezy, and whoever else we get, or just the three, if me and Breezy pick the Packers and you pick the Jets and you lone wolfing it by yourself, maybe we can, find a way, with our styles to kind of spin something like that. So I think that's a great idea. The chemistry is already there. We all are already done content together. So yeah, let's start something up offline. Let's talk about, doing some test runs and see how it goes. And then if it goes well, then next season we do that every week. What's up with JC Jackson? He's not looking too good right now. He's not. And that's part of the reason why I'm baffled at how the Chargers look right now. I would think, oh no, they got me. Oh, the bots done came over here and got me. Oh no. I didn't know the bots could get me. Not my little old channel. The bots done came over here and got me. But yeah, back to JC Jackson. I don't know, man. He didn't look too good last night. I mean, I know Jerry Judy's a good route runner, but he was getting routed up pretty bad. So I don't know if I know he's a good player. I don't want to automatically say he's a product of Bill Belichick and his defense, but I mean, everybody can't be Asante Samuel. Asante Samuel was good in New England, and he left New England with the Philly, and he was really good there. And not everybody can be Asante Samuel. So I'm hoping maybe he's just trying to figure out where he fits in and how he fits in. But with the pieces that they already had there, uh, Asante Samuel Jr., Derwin James, Kenneth Murray, Joey Bosa, adding a J.C. Jackson and a Khalil Mack, I thought this team was going to be a top 3, top 5 defense, and they just don't look like it. Carry on Pettiford says, "What's up? What's going on? Thank you so much for tuning in." He's actually a really good broadcaster. Sin says, "Me either." I think she's talking about uh, not bringing in Ndamukong Suh. Dion says, "I got you. We'll figure it out." And Sin says she's looking forward to it. So see, Dion, you done put it out there in the atmosphere now, bro. It's out there in the atmosphere that we need to do a joint pick show. So we're gonna have to figure some stuff out offline, put something like that together, do some test runs, see how it goes, and then see where that could take us in the future. Listen, I love and appreciate y'all. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm just coming up on my hour. I got 30 seconds left, or my wife gonna kill me. I gotta run downstairs. Thank you so much for tuning in. Be on the lookout for content from Mose Knows. Tomorrow, I'm dropping my Atlanta vlog. Thursday, I will be back with Mose Knows Fantasy, taking a look at my fantasy teams, how we're doing, and giving you some starts, some sits to help you win in your fantasy leagues. You're already here at the channel. Throw a like, a thumbs up on this video. It greatly helps me. It greatly helps you. I can curate content based off of what I like to do and what you like to see. Leave a comment under the video if you're watching this post live, and subscribe to the channel. We got one subscriber, new subscriber in the comments. Thank you so much. Appreciate that subscription. Become a part of the Mose Knows fam. Once your family, you're a know-it-all. I love you. There's nothing you can do about it. I updated my social media handles. One had dots, one had underscores, got rid of both of them. Twitter and IG is the same thing. What Mose Knows. I got some other pictures from my trip in Atlanta. You can check that out over on my IG right now. What.mose.knows. Now the email still got the dots in it. Couldn't change that. If you want to send me something via email, if you want to talk business, if you want to talk jumping on the show, I'll respond to DMs. But if you want to send me an email, you can do that too. Again, I'm off my bye week, so I'm back on the TikTok with my picks. Even though they've been trashed, they still coming. Love and appreciate y'all, and I'll catch y'all later. Peace.